your elementary video for the last weekend of April. I think it's April 28th and 29th. Thank you so much for just being with us all month and helping us share these incredible truths about Christ and God's true words with our kids this month. I hope you've had fun, and I hope you've had just some wonderful blessings of encouragement, and we always pray that you guys get to experience God's work through you and these kids. So I hope that you were able to see that this month. So this week we're going to be talking about Saul and his transformation, which is one of my favorite stories in the New Testament. And I think it's such a great story for our kids to see, because we are just like Saul. We are dirty and burdened by sin, and we too can see transformation through Christ, just like Saul did. So you're going to start with an activity. It's kind of like a blind faith kind of activity. So use your bandanas that you have from the first week of the month. And then we use these little blocks like this. If you guys have stuff like this, we use these kind of blocks to like lay out a maze on the floor. You can also use paper if you don't have blocks. So just kind of create a little maze with paper or with blocks, and then you'll have kids in partners, and one child will have a blindfold and the other child will be the leader. So one child will lead the blindfolded child through the maze. Or you could do it, we sometimes like to switch things up in Fort Lupton, and we've done the maze experiment before where we're not actually leading the child through, like you're not holding on to the other child, but the child that is not blindfolded will talk the other child through it. So take 2 steps forward, take 2 steps right, that sort of thing. So depending on the age of your kids, you might want to do one of those 2 things. And that activity will hopefully help you transition into the story time, because today's lesson really, this weekend's lesson is really about faith, about just trusting in Jesus. And of course, you know, it harkens also to the part of the story where Saul is blinded. After seeing Jesus, he's blinded. So that'll transition you into the story. One of the things about the story that I think will be really fun to kind of camp on is the part of Ananias. A lot of our kiddos are regular church attenders, and many of them may have salvation. So that part about Ananias is really helpful for them, because they can maybe see themselves in Ananias, where they believe, but sometimes maybe God is calling them to do scary things, like stand firm on their faith or speak out against something bad happening. You know, just recently my son had experienced something in school where his friends were doing something they shouldn't have been doing, and you know, he had 2 choices. He could either go along with them, or he could kind of call out, stand firm and say, you know, this is not what we should be doing. And that's scary and that's hard. And God's way is not always the easiest way, but we know it's always the right way. So I think that's why I love this lesson so much, because you know, Saul really speaks to us because of his sin. He speaks to the unbeliever and he speaks to the believer in both that. And then of course we have this little part about Ananias for the believer as well. So I just hope you guys have a great time telling this lesson and engaging the kids. And then the last part of your day is going to be a new game. We play Zonk a lot, so we've done a new game. It's called Zap. So the idea of this game is you separate your team, your group into 2 teams, and then you ask a question. The questions are listed for you in your lesson text. You ask Team A a question. If they get it right, they get a point on the board, and they also get to come and draw one of these cards. This card, for example, says Zap, lose half your points. But they can draw any number of different cards. This one says tell a riddle or a joke to earn 2 points. So there's just a bunch of different things they can do. Some of them are like switch points with the other team. They have to be able to answer the question correctly for them to draw a card from the Zap board. So that is your lesson. Thank you guys again so much for April, and I hope the beginning to summer as you come into May is just wonderful and blessing to you all. Thanks so much.